Today we're talking about The Witcher 3. Could we really be getting new DLC 10 years later? Plus, Nintendo Switch 2 saw a major sales slump this holiday. Is this just a post-launch dip or an early warning sign? And Rainbow Six Siege suffered a holiday hack that could be worth billions of dollars. How bad is it? Stick around for all that and more. Welcome, friends, to Good Playing with You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
Before we jump into the headlines this week, we just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge that Matthew Maulding has officially stepped away from the show. We're incredibly grateful for all the hard work, laughs, and late-night gaming conversations we've shared with him over the past couple of years, and we wish him nothing but the best in whatever comes next.
Oh yeah, we're gonna for sure miss Maulding and his quick quips on the show. You know, you never know what that guy was gonna say.
He is a wild man, that's for sure.
He was definitely a wild man. I mean, just sitting next to him on the couch doing those live streams, just when the heat is on. I mean, yeah.
Looking ahead, we've got a lot of exciting stuff planned for the new year. For the next few months, the third seat on the show will be rotating as we bring in different podcasters and voices from across the gaming spectrum. We've already got a ton of guests booked, and it's shaping up to be a really fun, dynamic year, and we can't wait for the rest of it and for you to meet them. It's just going to be good times.
Oh, it's gonna be good playing with you. V2, baby. Let's go. I'm excited.
Exactly.
2026 coming in hot, and good playing with you is leveling up.
You know it. It's going to be good times. One quick note before we dive in, though. We're only 131 subs away from our goal. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe. It really helps us out. All right, with that out of the way, let's jump into the headlines of the week.
Let's go.
Is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt getting DLC 10 years later? This is something coming from the Polish insiders, investors, and analysts watching CD Projekt Red very closely. On a recent investor call, CD Projekt Red's leadership straight up hinted at an unannounced content potentially releasing this year. And over 100 developers of support at a studio, Fool's Theory, are reportedly working on something. We don't know what. So we know it's not a next-gen patch. That's only a tiny update. This is like DLC-sized energy. And here's where it gets really interesting. Multiple reports are suggesting the setting could be Zarikana. And this is a desert region from Witcher lore known for dragon worship, brutal warriors, and absolutely unhinged vibes. A totally new biome, totally different in tone, and potentially the perfect setup for Ciri ahead of The Witcher 4. Analysts are even predicting a paid expansion launching around May of 2026 with a real budget behind it. And we know that The Witcher has turned out some pretty fantastic DLC, so this sounds like the kind of thing that could stand along all of it. We know that also that The Witcher 4 isn't expected until 2027 at the earliest. In fact, the fact that console mod support is finally coming this year feels like The Witcher 3 is coming back in a big way, although it's not officially confirmed. Lord, what's your take on this one?
I cannot believe that 10 years down the road. If I was a betting man, I would say this has to be some sort of connection with Witcher 4. Like it, I mean, if it's a desert region or something along those lines, I'm cool with that. I mean, I gotta say, I'm could be at a max at desert regions. Like it really has to be something extremely special for a desert region to capture my attention at this point. Like we just suffered through the Metroid Prime 4 motorcycle desert.
For sure. Which, by the way, Gamefly is sending that to me, so I'm going to play it and hopefully have my real review for you early impressions next week. So I'm worried about that desert. So more desert to come for me.
Hopefully you bought your amiibo so you get some music along for that ride.
Yeah, those amiibos are so overpriced.
That is crazy. Well, thank goodness for Gamefly, because now you're about to be jamming out on some Metroid 4. And yeah, I mean, this is cool. I think this is awesome. Like the question that I have to bounce back to you, do we really think, with all the craziness that's going on in the hardware industry and where the console cycles are at right now, do we think this Witcher 4 is really coming out in 2027?
Ooh, that is a good question because you know what? I don't think we'll know until we get a little bit closer. I know, like, one thing I've learned from you and I covering all of this video game news is that these companies love to pump up their investors and then be like, oh, we had a delay of a year, like
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Rockstar, and I see CD Project Red doing the same thing. They don't want another Cyberpunk 2077 on their hands, so they
No.
have to be very critical with or careful with this because this is their baby. So we'll see if that launch window holds. Now, this being an outside studio making some sort of big, DLC, that sounds real, and I think that sounds awesome and exciting because we all know Witcher 3 is one of the best games ever, but it is
I do.
10 years old. So now
Yeah.
then I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, is it outdated? Like I recently played it with the whole like upgrade it got from the next gen thing. Like,
How'd it
do you,
look to you?
are you pumped about this or is it just kind of like too late?
I'm a little bit torn because I jumped back in to The Witcher maybe 6 months ago, and I have to admit, like I felt it be. I was just like I had to start a new character, Gerald. Gerald. I had to start a new Gerald.
You're gonna get comments again on that one.
No, uh, Geralt. I was like, this kind of feels. I hate to admit it because it is such a good, but I was like, this feels a little dated. Like, it could
Yeah.
be like a full refresh, and so I'm just afraid. I think you nailed it. Like, this is a DLC coming. I think it is. 7 years too late. Like, I
I
don't
know.
know.
I
Yeah,
want to be super excited because look, Witcher is really three is such like, one of the best games ever. So I feel like a dick saying this, but I'll just tell you and a
yeah.
few like 100 of our closest friends. But this is kind of like when you get it, like you're at your birthday and then your parents get you the new iPhone 16, but right now the iPhone 17 is out and you really
Mm.
want the iPhone 17, but your parents are staring at you and you really like iPhone and you're gonna make this one work. This is gonna be great. And
Oh
this
yeah.
is this is gonna be fine. Everything's fine here. But it's not the iPhone 17. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's what I feel.
the disappointment on the parents' faces when you realize that you're just ungrateful. You don't want
No,
this.
no,
This is
yeah, you
trash.
can't let them know. You can't let them know that this is
I
what you
know.
want. You
Well,
have to
I
be
mean,
like,
hey,
"Yay."
I'm gonna be totally real though. If it does come out and it is all true, it would be pretty difficult for me not to play it.
Oh,
That's what
for
I
sure.
think.
I'm
Yeah.
there. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm not
No.
playing it. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying I'm
no.
an ungrateful turd.
Totally, and I think if it's executed well enough too, it could be like, that could be a really cool splash. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some other DLC for some other games that might be, kinda dated, as long as it's done well, and, who knows, maybe there's some I don't know if this is even possible. Like, I wonder if they could do graphic enhancements or something just within the DLC to make it just look a little
Yeah.
fresher, and then we might have a better, like, just I think the excitement level would rise a little bit more if there was an extra polish on this
Yeah.
thing. But
No, I agree. I have no doubt it's going to be fantastic looking. Maybe it will be current gen only.
yes.
I think it's going to be amazing. My only criticism is that like I've leveled up my Witcher and I'm so powerful and I have all
Yeah.
these spells and everything. And I just if there's no challenge in it, then I'm like, okay, well, it better have a great story.
Yeah. Well, do you think it is connected to Witcher 4 then?
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be. I think this is exactly what take a like. Don't groan, but this is
Mhm.
exactly what the Gearbox did for Borderlands 3 when it came to Tiny Tina's. They did a whole like one act sort of thing. And then
Mm.
didn't before 4 they did like a whole Littlest Sanctuary
Oh,
standalone free DLC. And so
yeah.
Gearbox has played in this space quite a bit and it's been successful with them, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think Witcher 4 really does deserve a moment, so I think a little extra DLC to kind of connect the stories in a bit like a more, I guess, in like a more cohesive way, then I think that's cool. That's just more world building, and I think it would be just smart on CD Project. But it's not being made by CD Project Red. It's a third party, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Fool's Theory they said was the studio.
See that makes me a little nervous too. Like, why can't CD Project Red just like because I guess they're working too hard on Witcher 4.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah,
But at the
their hands are
same
tied up.
time, it's like, I don't know. That's another factor that I like. I don't know if I have faith in another studio handling The Witcher, to be honest, because it's
But
such an intricate.
Obsidian gave us Fallout New Vegas, which is one of everyone's favorites Fallout games, so
That's
it can be good.
actually a great point. And so you're right. It can be done,
It can
but
be done,
it
and
can
I
be
can't
done.
wait for it to be announced. So that's what I'm like,
Yeah.
when?
When do you think it's going to be announced though?
Ooh, I mean, if they're looking at May, then it's got to be. I think this thing's probably got a budget of a few million, so they've got to make their money back. So they need some roll into this. It's got to be announced maybe in one of these showcases. We do have an Xbox showcase in 2
Yeah.
weeks, which I can't wait to
Oh yeah.
recap. And then Sony's going to have one, so it's going to be this spring. It'll be announced and then
That's crazy.
released in
Wow.
May.
Huge. Huge stuff.
Huge.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some other huge stuff here. Now, this was an interesting headline that kind of came out this week that I want to get your take on.
I'd love to
It's
hear it.
Nintendo Switch 2 sales slow down after a huge launch. So basically, the story sounds a bit dramatic, but then behind the scenes, there are some explanations. So I want to get your thoughts on it. According to GameSpot, citing reporting from the game business, Switch 2 holiday sales didn't quite match up the original Switch's legendary 2017 run. In the US, sales were reportedly down 35%. The UK saw a 16% dip, and France was down over 30% compared to the Switch 1's first holiday. Now, here's where the excuses kind of come in. Data from Circana shows November 2025 was the worst month in the US hardware sales since 1995. So that's not a Nintendo problem. That's just the industry itself taking a digger on the face. Nintendo also blamed the lack of a true Western system seller. Kirby's Air Riders crushed it in Japan, but Metroid Prime 4 Beyond landed to mixed reactions. There was no Breath of the Wild moment, no Mario Odyssey. So they're saying, they didn't have that banger, and that's why they didn't sell as much this winter. But here's part that also got lost in some of the headlines that I wanted to point out. The Switch 2 has already sold around 10 to 11 million units worldwide in just a few months, making it one of the fastest selling consoles ever. And it's still on pace to meet or even beat Nintendo's own sales expectations and forecasts for the year. So people like to spin it out, and we love to bag on Nintendo and all, but people are spinning out on this one, and it's not as big as everyone says. But because the launch was so big, but then the software sales this winter, like that is something to at least look at and ponder and see what happened here. Do you think it's just a normal cool down after a massive launch, or does Nintendo need to start making some games ASAP? What are your thoughts?
Oh man, they need to make games ASAP. This to me screams there are not enough games out there for the kiddos and the adults for that matter to be like, I need this system for the winter. Like there everyone's back there playing Metroid 4 on their OG Switch. They do not need a Switch 2 that has an LED screen, no OLED, and it's a $500 system in this economy. Well, people are like, you know, hurting to buy eggs at the grocery store. It's the whole system in my book. It was made for the hardcore fans. I think the hardcore fans have already bought it. I don't think they realized how fast the hardcore Nintendo fans were going to gobble up this system at launch. It clearly sold a lot. If the numbers are real, I like to preface.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, like I think it's sold and a bunch, but you've said this before, Dan. We're going to see this thing start to slow down and not have the longevity for the long haul. And
yeah.
without games to keep propelling it, and we have not really seen, I mean, hardcore Nintendo fans will say there's a whole roadmap of games coming along, but guess what? All those games are coming out on the Switch 1 also. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure when we're really going to get into just Switch 2, that Switch 2 exclusive era. That's when maybe the system sales will jump back up again. But I'm really, I'm okay just holding on to the Switch. If something really comes along that is really piquing my interest, the likelihood of me just picking it up on my Switch 1 is super high. What do you
See,
think?
and I think where your head is at is exactly where the majority of people are, and it's spot on. I think Nintendo. I did say that I thought it was going to start to crater after and I don't want it to now. I'm flipping a bit because I own it and I want it to be successful.
Yeah.
But I think Nintendo has made a fundamental mistake because they have invested in upgrades to Switch 1 software for Switch 2. There are so
Mhm.
many games like Mario Wonder and the Mario Jamboree like party that we
Mhm.
played, and then and also in what 2 weeks? No, it's next week. I think on the 15th. Animal Crossing is getting an upgrade for it as well. And as someone who, we all played Animal Crossing in 2020, and here I
Mhm.
am starving for something. And okay, yes, I'll probably get the Animal Crossing upgrade because I am that one of those crazy
Yeah, but
people.
let hang on. Let's
As
be
much
real. How much is the Animal Crossing upgrade like really gonna do? Like what
well,
please explain because I mean, is it cuz unless they're like adding more content
they
into the
are.
game, I okay.
It's got like
Okay.
this hotel. This whole
Oh, okay.
hotel setup thing that's coming to the island and stuff like that. Believe me, I wouldn't be spending my money unless I'm okay. I'm kind of bored. Like I feel like we're in kind of a little bit of a game drought here. And
We
if
are.
I'm, going to be playing Animal Crossing too, and they just updated it to where you can transfer your island, but I didn't get to, so I'm like starting over on my island, whatever. But
Okay.
anyway, my point here
Wait,
is,
but also I would like to play with you. So
yeah,
if
hop
once
on
you
my
get
island, bro.
I mean, yeah, I got New Horizons. Like, I'm ready to play. Like, I feel like I haven't, I kind of jumped in at the tail end of 2020, so I'm ready to get in and see the island, bro.
Well, I'm
Just shoot
telling
the
you,
invite.
on Switch 2, actually, you can have 12 players now. That's a new
Oh,
thing for 12, but it's got to be
really?
Switch 2 players. Yeah.
Oh,
This is the shit that I shouldn't be worrying about. I should be playing new games. That's the thing. I
hmm
shouldn't be playing updates to old games. And I think that that is a fundamental flaw in their strategy here that they just updated games. They didn't roll out anything new. And I feel like now people have the attitude that you have. They're waiting for the new thing, and so we're all twiddling our thumbs. I think Nintendo has to bring out the big guns, and I think they're going to do it this year. And and then I'm going to be like, sweet, I'm so happy I have a Switch 2. Yeah, I'm super excited. And then RAM prices are going to get out of control, and you guys can't afford it, and no one's going to be able to get it, and I'm going to have it, and I'm going to be super happy.
you know what? You probably are completely spot on with that
I
because,
hope not.
man, I mean, also you mentioned this a second ago, but you said hardware sales across the board were the lowest since 95. That
Yeah,
is nuts. Like, I don't think that's been spoken about enough at all. Like, I think hardware in general is just people are hitting the brakes on buying new systems. And I have a little
for
theory.
sure.
I think
Yes, tell me your
everyone,
theory.
this whole circle of industry, I think a lot of people were buying PCs, and I think there was some people pulling some levers behind the scenes to say, "Hey, we need some RAM prices to spike. We need some GPU prices to spike. We can't not have any console sales." Like, and boom, I think PC was running away with this. I don't know. I don't know if PC can't really be lumped into the console war, but like kind of felt like it was because it was starting to get really, really popular. And now they're basically out of the race with RAM prices costing as much as a console itself. Like, I don't know. There's something fishy going on. I don't, and with the hardware sales being so down, I just think, man, something is happening. Someone's pulling levers. Am I
It could be.
crazy?
Yeah, yeah, you're crazy, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point.
Yes.
No, I think you could be onto something, but also you got to remember that everyone expected the 10,000 pound gorilla in the room that was Grand Theft Auto. Everyone thought this is going to move, and
Yeah.
had it launched, we wouldn't have these headlines about the 95 and worst hardware. So I guarantee you,
Yeah.
it would have been record sales. Because what I'm saying here
Oh,
is
that's a
the
really
old
good point.
adage of software moves the hardware, and it's one thing that I wish Microsoft would learn and make some good games. Because
Mhm.
if someone would just fucking rip off Grand Theft Auto already. I've been saying that, everyone's been saying this for a
Yeah.
decade. They've had a decade to rip off Grand Theft Auto and make something even more violent and cool and beautiful, and no one has. And I'm like, what the hell, people? Come on, you're
Yeah.
missing your decade long window here.
Dude. I don't know what, like, Mind's Eye tried, but, like, what a
Oh,
fail, man. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you just get, like, how hard could it really be? At this point, you could just get AI to crawl
Well,
GTA 5, and you can get a game out in Unity and so fast, like, Microsoft, dude, get me on your team. I'm here for you.
oh my god, that is so toxic, and I'm sure you would have your
I
people
know.
doing crunch, and I'm saying, oh
Oh, I would.
my god,
I'd
yeah.
be it would be
Lord
bad.
Software Inc. It would be a
Lo
toxic place to work. I
Just
love it.
Lord Software, like 2 little devil horns at the
Yeah.
top and just smoke. Oh,
I love it.
man. Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
All right, so before we spiral off too much, though, I
I
want
know.
to talk
Yeah.
about Siege because I know you've played
Oh,
Siege. I
yeah.
know you love Siege, and I know there was a crazy story about them
Yeah.
getting ripped off for billions of
Yeah.
dollars. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Well, yeah. Rainbow Six Siege engulfed in chaos after hackers hand out billions of dollars of in-game money. This is from Kotaku's John Walker. Ubisoft posted on Rainbow Six official X account on December 27th that it was aware of an incident and working on a resolution. A couple hours later, another update added, Siege and the marketplace have been intentionally shut down while the team focuses on resolving the issue. The latter rumor became extremely prevalent across social media and Reddit largely because before the shutdown, an in game ban ticker had been spamming announcements across players' screens for a huge number of fans. So people were getting like
Ooh.
banned for spending this money that was getting placed in their account. When Ubisoft finally updated its X account, it was to make it clear this was not true, and this is in quotes. Nobody will be banned for spending credits received, said the post, noting any messages seen were not triggered by us. But for those thinking Christmas had happened all over again, added a rollback of all transactions that occurred since 11 a.m. is underway. So there's a whole thing with this massive, incredibly huge hack got pretty much, well, first of all, Ubisoft was criticized extremely heavily about how poorly it was handled on social media. Apparently, there was huge gaps of information. People were just like, "What is going on?" The game was down. They weren't sure if they could just spend all the cool money that they had in their inventory. It's
So it's
just
like Santa Claus just gave
yeah,
everyone free credits, and then
100%.
oh
And
my
like all
god.
these these alpha packs and some people though in the hack as well, they lost all their currency. So it wasn't all good for
Ooh.
everyone.
Depends on
But
your if you're the naughty list or the nice list, I
I
guess.
know. But like I feel like these are spiteful hackers out there. Like this is crazy. I mean, I think people, including hackers are kind of getting fed up with these heavily monetized games and are like kind of taking it to them, especially like Ubisoft and Siege is one of the big, like, they were kind of leading the way in as far as like really heavily monetized cosmetics in game. I remember playing Siege on like the PS4 back in the day, and they were already, they had alpha packs that you had to pay for. So it was sort of like they had the gambling loot box sort of system, and then super expensive cosmetics. So do you think this kind of like hack situation might become more normal as more and more games just become bloated monetization hellscapes?
Oh, for sure, but the hackers are idiots, like, they clearly did not have a plan here, and that's what
No,
surprises me. Like,
no.
yes, look, they caused a lot of chaos and moved a lot of cash and gave a lot of people stuff over the course of a day, but Ubisoft caught them right away and was able, as you said, to roll back to everything that would happen
Yeah.
before 11 AM or whatever. So they knew it and they fixed it. But like there are other hacks that happen all the time. Like you hear about like FIFA games and the credits in Europe and how those they've uncovered like a year later that these FIFA credits have been illegally being printed and distributed by third party people, and it's been going on for over a year. And these people have minted like over 100 million or something. That's how you do it, people. That's how
Yeah,
you do it. You don't make
you
it big
do.
and flashy. You do it on the sly. You do it on the FIFA people because they're already a corrupt organization anyway. They won't even notice because they probably think it's themselves. And
Yeah.
like you do it that way, and I think you cause a little chaos, but you do it on the sly.
I That's so true. Like, is it just to troll Ubisoft or troll the players who are still playing the game? It's kind of hard to say, I guess. I think it's more so to just ruffle the feathers of Ubisoft, shut them down for a little while,
Sure.
make uh, everyone scramble over, it was 2 days after Christmas that this took place. So it's a wow, what a mess. Even though I gotta say, like Siege, and I don't know, it could just be bitter players because back in the day, I really believed that Siege was like the future of FPSs. When I played it, I was like, I have not played a game like this. It is so much fun. And then they just blew it. And I think a lot of where everything went wrong and unraveled was this monetization thing. So if people are upset about that, I kind of sympathize with them because that game really had such a huge fall from grace, and it's really too bad that you can kind of see that these monetization, all the efforts went into that, and then the operator selection got super lazy. Everybody, it was just like it was grounded very realistically, and then you could tell they kind of ran out of ideas. They're like, yeah, let's just make this guy like a specter and he can just run around and no worries. And it's too bad. It's really, I don't know. I just, these types of games that start off so realistic, you really want them to stick with that fashion. I think we're seeing it right now also with Battlefield 6
Hmm.
and how, they want to stay grounded, but that monetization money, it must be just too good to resist. Like you
Well,
can't resist.
I'm glad you bring that up because there's an article that I wanted to talk to you
Oh,
about, and it
perfect.
talked about South Park is invading Fortnite. So speaking of monetization, this one takes the cake. It's a crossover that's been rumored forever, and now it's finally real. South Park is officially coming to Fortnite actually today. Epic revealed this collaboration with a full-on short film, the same way they rolled out the Simpsons crossover, showing Stan, Kyle, Cartman, Kenny, and Butters getting sucked into the Fortnite megaverse. The joke is Butters never gets to play with them because the squad's capped at 4, so he uses the stick of truth. That's right, he fished it out,
Wow.
and naturally everything goes wrong, but he creates basically the system to have 5-player squads, which is the first time that they've done it in the battle royale. Yes, there's been limited time modes, they've done stuff in blitz or whatever, but this is the first time the actual battle royale itself has done a 5-player squad, and it's probably limited time. So it's kind of cool what they're doing here as with the completely different sort of mode here. They've also added some cheesy poof healing stuff and the stick of truth mythic weapon, which I thought was kind of cool because the stick of
That's
truth,
right.
if there's only one per round, and if you find it, you keep it in your inventory, and then the power is essentially the storm always centers around you.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
thought,
I love
yeah,
that.
that was like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? When you guys are clever, when you change the game just little bits here and
Yeah.
there, I truly appreciate that shit. That was cool.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yes. And then there's also a free mini pass, which Fortnite hasn't done since chapter 5. And and there's, of course, it has little things, in there like cred, juice, and all sorts of stuff. And then, of course, in the shop, there are skins for Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Butters. And they're all in mech suits because they're so short, and then they have to actually
Yeah.
give them legs and stuff like that. And then you can buy a Towley sidekick because they love their sidekicks and they're trying to cash in. The whole thing runs through February 5th. And it basically, they're just trying to cash in, but it's kind of funny and fun. So, what do you think about it?
Yeah, the first thing that just popped into my head was it's a little bit of a cash in. And I feel like this is a little out of the scope of what the South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they like don't seem like the type of dudes who would want to hand off their IP to someone like Fortnite. So I just, just saying,
Right?
like, seems a little out of their realm of things that they would be willing to pull off. Because I mean, let's be honest, Fortnite is just kind of like the horror of cosmetics at this point. Like they just
I know.
they'll take any IP and
Oh, yes.
so I'm just kind of like South Park. I felt like you had a higher standard a little bit, and
Yeah.
knowing that you gotta pay for all the boys, and do you know how much? Yeah,
Fortnite is like the Bonnie Blue of OnlyFans, just
definitely the Bonnie Blue,
yeah,
just
because
getting
taking all
crocodile
comers.
jizz.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking.
Just like I don't know. And what the skins are probably $15 pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Fortnite's the Bonnie Blue, then I think unfortunately South Park is probably getting sloppy seconds because The Simpsons just did it and they did
Yeah.
it bigger and better. We actually got a new custom map that was for Simpsons where everything was
Yep.
animated. And then here comes another animated property that isn't too far off from The Simpsons looking with its cell shadedness. And the world's staying the same. They're just changing, some of the rules of the game and giving us some more cosmetics. So it's just, I mean, I'm excited. Oh, believe me, I'm going to be playing on
Yeah.
Friday. I'm around.
Yeah.
If you're around, let's play.
Oh,
But
yeah. No, I am for
but
sure.
again, it's like it's that whole thing of like the Witcher 3 DLC of like the iPhone 16. It's like, oh, this is great. I'm very happy to have
Yeah.
it. But really, you're like, but there's something better that I don't have. But I'm gonna be grateful. I'm gonna be grateful. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to follow up after that Simpsons season. I see people pining for it all the time still on Reddit, so
Mm-hmm.
it was a good time. Like, you
It
don't see
was.
that all that much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I do have to tip my hat to the Stick of Truth situation that changes mechanics, has the storm follow you around. I
Loved
think
it.
that's
Yeah.
such a cool, that's real, like, to me, that's such an easy change. Like, I know I'm not in there coding or anything, but like, that just seems like a no brainer, like, such a cool way to do it. And I feel like that type of stuff gets noticed by fans really easily. Like, if you're playing, you're like, that's awesome. Like, I need more of that. So yeah, I'll be playing. And well, actually, I did want to get your take because I did play, a couple over, New Year's break or whatever, and it was interesting to see how the Winterfest thing had like the, what was your take on like the snowmen, look, storm circles and all the different like, how what did you think of that? Because I know that this kind of is in similar vein as the Stick of Truth situation.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The nice thing is, look, the surfing intro instead of the
Oh,
bus or the different like shapes or anything. These are not things that happen all of the time in the match
yeah.
because then that would be truly annoying. I like
Yeah.
when they change up the game. To be honest with you, I played so much over the break. I was like, oh, I'm not playing Fortnite for like a month. And then Fortnite's like, hey, we got South Park. And I'm like, oh, damn you, Fortnite, I'm coming back to you right now. Like,
Mini
so it's
pass,
like,
here I come.
yeah, so I like all the little changes, and it's those little things when I hear about them, like the Stick of Truth, those little changes or the storm, like it keeps me back because I just got to see it, and then I'm like, oh, I'll play one more match. Oh, I'll play
Uh-huh.
another match.
Yeah. Oh,
But I don't
man.
buy the skins though because I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Well, you'd be broke,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much. And that's just yeah, I feel like that's always like I'm still running my like Amazon Prime skin from like season literal 1. It's like the camo guy. So I'm like
Yeah.
I'm out here running that. Well, more yeah, more Fortnite, why not?
Yeah, for sure. But I gotta say though, like as someone who plays probably too much Fortnite, I do think the skins that I think are cool are not the skins that are on sale. They're the skins
Oh,
that you might have gotten in a battle pass or from your Amazon thing years and years ago that haven't
yeah.
recycled through the shop. Those are the skins that are cool, like
Yeah.
old shit. So don't spend your money on stuff. Get something and sit on it, and then use it from years of past. That's where, I like, as a Fortnite addict, I would say that I think it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm definitely ready to. I mean, we're going to be seeing people's Epic account maybe like another 5 years down the line. Epic accounts that have hundreds of skins going on sale on eBay. Maybe
Oh,
that's
when I
the next.
pass away, my nieces and nephews, they can cash in
They're
because I've
cashing
got
in.
so much.
Yeah, that's like cryptocurrency on crack right there.
For
I do
sure, for
wonder
sure.
if there is like, I don't know off the top of my head. I wonder like what would be considered the rarest Fortnite skin. Maybe we'll have to do some research and report
Yeah.
back.
Well, it's hard because as of like what, like last year, they said, "Oh, we're going to start repeating stuff." Whereas before, these skins had value. It
Yeah.
was like CS2 or something like that,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you get these really expensive skins and sit on them and have them and sell them and stuff. It used to have that economy, but then it was completely decimated when Fortnite got greedy, and now they're recycling skins in the shop, and that's a real shame because things were
That is.
special and they've just ruined everything. Capitalism, man, fuck it.
Yeah, dude. Did they not learn from Steam Marketplace that shit is lucrative as hell? Like
I know they
that.
could have been making
Yeah.
money off of this, and they're not.
Yeah. Like, honestly, this in my opinion, like, the CS2 Marketplace with the knives and the guns and all that shit is, like, honestly such an achievement. I feel like it is crazy. Like they basically created the stock market of gaming, and Epic easily could have been on that train with Fortnite, considering how freaking popular the game is.
Yeah.
So
I think just too many kids play Fortnite, so they couldn't go that route. They're like,
totally,
yeah,
totally, yeah.
crazy. Also crazy though is Red Dead Redemption 2. You
Oh,
know, I love to talk about that game. Yeah, you had a story you wanted to bring up.
I did indeed. So, the biggest discovery in Red Dead Redemption 2 in years. Rockstar fans uncover spiderweb mystery unnoticed since release, and now the hunt is on for answers. So, this is from iGen's Todd Phillips. After more than 7 years, a group of Red Dead aficionados recently realized they'd stumbled on something no one had reported previously, a series of mysterious spider webs that began spawning on 8 telegraph poles throughout the game's vast world, each during a specific hour of the night. 2 weeks on, more clues have been found out, and it's become clear that this is a deliberate secret included by Rockstar within the game, which players are now rushing to uncover the full meaning of. Fast forward to last week, and a fresh update detailed a second phase of the mystery's unraveling. Here, players discovered that the various spiderwebs led to one central web that contained a cryptic direction in its web design, N, and a symbol for another telegraph pole. Heading north and directed by N leads to another wooden pole, which, once found, can be shot at to reveal yet another direction under its bark. So I know it. The mystery is not yet fully uncovered, but this is pretty epic. I gotta say, I love this stuff. Like, I think, yeah, like love it or hate it, Red Dead 2, that is, like this kind of a detail and having things being like complete mysteries being unfolded even now, so long after its release, is, in my opinion, mind blowing. And I do think that does show passion. Now, will this, will this mystery be anything more than just like a, what would it be like, basically an unfinished sort of like mission or something that was just left in the game and it won't have any payoff, like the Mount Chiliad GTA 5 sort of
Mm-hmm.
situation? Or it might actually, if it does come up with something, man, what a cool thing. Like, I would just love that. I just had to talk about it because it really is something that is unfolding, and I think we could do a follow-up in case there is actually something awesome going on. But what is your take? Is this enough for you maybe to go back and just kind of take a quick look at Red Dead 2?
Hell fuck no. Look, I have a lot of respect for the game. I don't like the game, but I do have a lot of respect. And one of the cool things that the article said was that this secret Easter egg thing, whatever it is, was in there from launch. So this is
Yeah.
not something that they patched in recently because it's going to lead to a promotion for Grand Theft Auto 6. This was something that's been in there for years, since the beginning, and 7 years, I guess, and no one ever noticed. So that is really cool. I love when games do that, when they have that depth and when they put those little Easter eggs, and then when fans care enough, man, it's got to be such a compliment if you were a designer or worked on Red Dead and to have people still talk about your game this way. It's wild. Of course, Red Dead Online, still they bag on that one a little bit for not having any content, but this one I think people truly worship, and I think they're wrong, but I totally understand. So
Yes.
it's cool.
And you made a good point. I think it is even more special when the game is a single player game and there's still mysteries unfolding. I think multiplayer games, for some, I don't know, for whatever reason or another, it seems like there's more little mysteries. Probably you're right, updates, and then there's little things. But something about a single player game that has so much content packed into it from the launch that it's still being uncovered. I just think that is such a magical thing that only video games can provide, and it's awesome that there's players willing to put in the work to kind of figure out these little, connect the dot type of things.
Okay, but here's like the thing of like, we're the nerds that were hacking, Siege, and why don't you have them look at the code and then just figure it out and tell us, because then we don't have to go hunting around shooting bark.
Yes, there was. So one of the videos I did watch on this, they did go into the source files and they found the little feathers that were falling from the webs as they shot them, and so they did do like, yeah, you're right. Like, why don't you go and do more? I don't know. It doesn't explain why they couldn't do more of that. They did find the
Yeah.
feathers and the, that source file, but um yeah, you're right. Like, why can't they just freaking comb through, get AI in there?
I
F
know,
it.
right? Exactly.
Yeah. What's
Cheat,
going on
cheat,
here?
cheat,
Dude,
cheat.
just cheat. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I had liked that game. I really do. I know everyone does, but woo, doggy, I just could
Yeah.
not get on board with that one.
I you know, it's I think it maybe, I mean, yeah, you already 100%ed it. So it's like you
I
probably
know.
just are like, you're freaking done, dude. You're
No,
done.
exactly. I'm over it. Although it makes me
Yeah.
curious when people still talk about it. But okay, so speaking of games though that you can't judge just quite yet, though, and I haven't played, is Marathon. We have to talk about that one really quickly
Yes.
because they kind of did this on the sly recently over the past week or so, but Marathon has like a whole new look, and I gotta say, it's jaw dropping. Like some people didn't even register to them. Like I don't know, why is this not a bigger deal? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know. Essentially, Bungie showed off some new gameplay footage, before and after visuals showing its more noticeable change in the lighting. It's warmer, it's more dramatic, it's deeper shadows and a lot deeper color. And basically, to be honest with you, I think they took out that girl's artwork completely,
Mhm.
and they went with a complete overhaul graphically that looks so much better. I mean, it looks,
Yeah.
this is what, like I was saying before, like the pixels were so jagged, they were like, tearing my eyeballs, not just my screen. Like this is a complete 180, and my jaw hit the floor because I got to be honest with you, my biggest complaint with Marathon wasn't even the gameplay or the concept. It was those horrific graphics that were so bad. Like, how are you supposed to stare at those for years? And now what they've done here is complete that they're turning that ship around. They're getting me kind of pumped here for this one. Now, I'm not about to go run out pay $40 when it launches or anything, but I am kind of starting to root them on because they're at least listening to people and they've made some changes here. I think the reaction has been pretty positive. Creators and fans online are calling it a massive glow up, saying the game finally looks finished. It looks like a premium Bungie shooter instead of a rough work in progress. And a lot of people point out that this is exactly what you expect when a game moves from alpha to closer to release. So Bungie's been pretty open about these changes, and the studio isn't hiding them. But the debates, only gotten louder of like, is this gonna hit? Is this not gonna hit when it comes out? So, what do you think? Are they onto something? Are they making the changes that are necessary for this game to succeed, or are we just polishing a turd?
It's so hard to say,
I
but
know.
it's like this game has been put through the ringer, man. Like, there's no two ways about that. This game has been
Exactly.
through hell, and I
The
think you're
press has
right.
been, and I
Yeah,
mean us, have been total assholes, including
I
us,
know.
especially us.
Gosh, being dicks. Poor
Yeah,
game.
right. Poor game.
But like, I do have to say, what I did see of the game, I think you're right. Like, they did something about the graphics. It does look sharper and cleaner to me. It doesn't look like that 2D. It didn't look like that 2D like pixel block graphic style that they were going
Right?
for. At least what I saw. I don't like, it didn't
No,
look
that's
that
spot
way.
on.
Yeah, so, I think that was a better choice. The reaction that I saw to one of the videos on Twitter was all like, "Bruh, bruh," like, whatever. But hey, like, we don't have that many extraction shooters out there. If this is getting to a point that could be in a better place than whatever the alpha was that was just getting totally dunked on, why not? Like, I'm down to maybe give it a shot, run it with a few, two other friends. It's gonna be, I think, 3 player in uh running. And I do have such a soft spot for extraction shooters. They are so much fun. And when they're done well, you really get such a good rush out of them. And it is so satisfying getting good loot. And I think what Division could be considered an extraction shooter,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Division.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the whole dark zone.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, it's
which I got
But
murdered in all the time, and I'm not bitter about still to this day.
yeah, there's PTSD going on with that, and but I know I think if I mean, let's also be real. Bungie has so much riding on this game. They
Huge,
cannot let it fail. So
huge, huge.
I am assuming the amount of crunch that is going unrecorded in Bungie right now is probably pretty high,
Yeah,
and they're probably paying some serious overtime to make this game a really good final product, and I
yeah.
believe they can pull it off.
Well, one of our third seat co-hosts, his name's Sword, who will be coming in on the 29th, actually played it, and he had to sign an NDA,
Oh,
so he couldn't talk about it. But he was able to just generally say that, like, he, as a playtester, has seen changes that were very positive to it, and he couldn't say whether he thought it was going to be a hit or not, because none of us can call that until we actually all get our hands on the game and stuff. But
yeah.
he had just kind of alluded to really positive changes behind the scenes, and it sounded encouraging for this thing, so much so that I'm like, maybe this won't be the unmitigated disaster we all thought it was going to be. And I kind of got hope for them. If they're at least, they're trying here, there's effort here, there's passion here that I know you love to see, Lord.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it kind of got, makes me want to root for Bungie on this one.
Dude, I love seeing that passion. You're so right. Like,
Yeah.
and I think as the release date gets close, because we're not far off, right?
No,
It's
it's
soon.
March. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, dude, we're gonna
Yeah.
see more video. I think I really do think, as much as we've been bagging on it, this game will come out and be a be received better than what everyone is thinking. Because I think right now everyone is still in the same boat, like this game's in a tank. But I think it's come out, surprise some people.
Yeah. I think once people see the new graphics, the new look, and the new gameplay and that sort of stuff, I also agree, which is crazy because I'm like, what's happening to me? I was so anti like Nintendo Switch 2 last year, and now I'm rooting for Nintendo to
Yeah,
like
what?
pull it out and to make it. And I'm doing the same for Bungie on Marathon. I'm like, I thought they were going to get barn blasted before. And now I'm
Dude.
like, oh, you can do it. You can make it come back. Come on, Bungie. You can do it.
Well, 2026 really has the makings of it has the makings of kind of a disaster year for gaming.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. So, like, I would like to see some wins here, like,
Look,
if
it's
anywhere
all.
possible.
Yeah, and it's fine. Look, nobody gets hurt as long as GTA comes out. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'm asking for 2026. 2026. I'm just
Yeah.
asking you one thing. I've given you one thing. 2026. That's all I'm asking for. GTA 6, and we're fine. And then we're square. And then whatever happens, happens.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm forgetting that, GTA is looming out there. So it
yeah,
could,
potentially.
and I'm hoping you're right about it being released in 2026, but I feel like there's just I don't know. Because you also made a good point about that hardware sales gap that I really do think the big issue was the lack of GTA 6, and I think a lot of stuff could be turned around with that game, but I kind of have a feeling at this point in time with all these weird price hikes and everything going out the window, I think
Mhm.
this thing's going to 2027.
Could be. Oh,
I know.
remains to be seen. There's so much promise, so much
I know.
mystery. 2026. I can't wait for more of it. That pretty much wraps everything we've got for this week. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, please share with a friend. And on behalf of my co-host Matt Lord and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.